There is something both beautiful and terrifying about being seen when you think you are invisible. There is a strange comfort in knowing that someone notices the small things you do when you believe no one is paying attention. But there is also vulnerability in realizing that your unguarded moments, the ones where you are most authentically yourself, have been witnessed by someone who has been silently watching from a distance. Learning who you really are beneath the surface you show the world. The story begins on a quiet autumn evening when Isabel sat alone in the university library, crying softly over a failed exam, completely unaware that someone across the room had been watching her for months, noticing every detail of her struggles, her strengths, her kindness, and her pain, wishing desperately for the courage to cross the distance between them. Isabel was 24 years old and in her final year of medical school. She was exhausted in a way that went beyond physical tiredness. She was soul-tired, burnt out from years of pushing herself beyond her limits, trying to prove that she belonged in a field where she constantly felt like an outsider. She came from a small rural town where nobody in her family had ever gone to college, let alone medical school. Every day felt like a battle to keep up with classmates who seemed naturally brilliant, effortlessly confident, and completely at ease in an environment where Isabel always felt like she was pretending to be someone she was not. She studied harder than anyone else. She arrived at the library before sunrise and left long after midnight. She sacrificed sleep, friendships, and any semblance of a social life to stay afloat. But no matter how hard she worked, she felt like she was barely surviving while everyone around her was thriving. She had just received the results of her pharmacology exam, and she had failed. Not by a little, by a lot. It was the third exam she had failed this semester, and she was terrified that she was going to lose her scholarship, disappoint her family, and prove right all the people who had doubted whether someone like her could become a doctor. Owen saw Isabel not just as she appeared on the surface, but as she truly was when she thought no one was watching. He saw her compassion, her work ethic, her vulnerability, her strength, and he fell in love with all of it. But he never approached her. He told himself it was because she was clearly stressed and did not need distractions. He told himself he did not want to be that guy who interrupts a woman while she is trying to work. But the truth was simpler and more painful. He was terrified. Terrified that if he spoke to her and she did not feel the same way, this quiet connection he had built in his mind would be destroyed. Terrified that the version of her he had come to care about might not match the reality of actually knowing her. Terrified of rejection in a way he had never been before, because no one had ever mattered to him the way Isabel did. So Owen stayed in the shadows. He watched her struggle through difficult semesters. He watched her stress and strain and push herself to the breaking point. And he wished, desperately, that he could do something to help her, to support her, to tell her that she was not alone even though she felt that way. On this particular autumn evening, when Owen saw Isabel crying in her corner of the library, something inside him broke. He had watched her carry so much weight for so long, and seeing her finally collapse under it was unbearable. He could not stay silent anymore. He could not keep watching her suffer from a distance. He had to do something, even if it meant risking the comfortable distance he had maintained between them. Owen took a deep breath, walked across the library, and sat down in the chair across from Isabel. She looked up, startled, her face blotchy from crying. and for a moment she looked confused and embarrassed that someone had caught her in such a vulnerable state. "I am sorry to bother you," Owen said gently, "but I have seen you here almost every day for months, and I have watched you work harder than anyone I have ever known. And I just saw you crying, and I could not just walk away without saying something." Isabel wiped her eyes quickly, trying to compose herself. "I am fine," she said automatically, the lie obvious in her shaky voice. "Just having a bad day." Owen nodded slowly. "I know we do not really know each other, but I want you to know that I have noticed you. I have noticed how kind you are to everyone around you. I have noticed how you help other students even when you are clearly overwhelmed yourself. I have noticed you feeding that stray cat every single day. I have noticed that you work harder than anyone else in this entire building, and I have noticed that you are struggling, and I wish there was something I could do to help." Isabel stared at him, tears welling up in her eyes again. "You have been watching me?" she asked, and Owen could not tell if she was upset or surprised or something else. "Yes," Owen admitted, feeling his face flush. "I know that probably sounds strange or even creepy, but it has not been like that. I first saw you 10 months ago when you dropped your wallet in the coffee shop. Do you remember? And I have not been able to stop thinking about you since. I started coming here because I knew you would be here, and I just wanted to be near you, even if we were not actually talking. I have watched you because I care about you, even though I have no right to. I have watched you because you are remarkable, and I do not think you realize it." Isabel was crying again, but this time it was different. "I failed my exam," she whispered. "I have failed 3 exams this semester. I am not remarkable. I am barely keeping my head above water. I do not belong here. Everyone else makes it look so easy, and I am drowning." Owen leaned forward, his voice earnest. "Isabel, everyone else is not working 3 part-time jobs to pay for school. Everyone else is not sending money home to help their family. Everyone else did not grow up in a place where medical school was not even an option. I know all of this because I have watched you take phone calls from your mom where you lie and tell her everything is fine even though you are exhausted. I have watched you skip meals because you are saving money. I have watched you push yourself beyond what anyone should have to endure. You are not failing because you are not good enough. You are struggling because you are carrying weight that would crush most people, and you are still here, still fighting, still showing up every single day. That is not weakness. That is strength." Isabel looked at him with an expression of such raw emotion that Owen felt his own eyes burning with tears. "How do you know all of that?" she asked quietly. "Because I have been paying attention," Owen said simply. "Because when you care about someone, you notice things. And I have cared about you for a long time, even though I have been too scared to tell you." There was a long silence. Then Isabel said something that surprised them both. "I have noticed you too. I'd have seen you here, always in the same area, always looking over at me sometimes. I thought maybe I was imagining it or being paranoid, but there were moments when I felt like someone was watching me, and when I would look up, you would be there. And it did not feel scary. It felt oddly comforting, like maybe I was not as alone as I thought I was." Owen felt his heart racing. "You knew I was watching you?" Isabel nodded slowly. "Not consciously, not really, but I think some part of me sensed it, and I think maybe I liked it. Is that strange?" "No," Owen said, relief flooding through him. "I do not think it is strange at all." They talked for hours that night. Owen told Isabel about his own struggles in graduate school, about his own feelings of inadequacy and imposter syndrome. Isabel told Owen about her family, about the pressure she felt to succeed, about how terrified she was of failing. They discovered that they had both been carrying loneliness and fear in parallel, separated by only a few dozen feet of library space, when they could have been supporting each other all along. Over the following weeks and months, Owen and Isabel became inseparable. Owen helped Isabel study for her exams, explaining complex concepts in ways that finally made sense to her. Isabel helped Owen with his research, offering perspectives he had not considered. They studied together, ate together, supported each other through the difficult moments, and celebrated the victories. And slowly, the connection they had both felt from a distance transformed into something real, something solid, something neither of them had to hide or watch from the shadows anymore. Isabel passed her remaining exams. She graduated from medical school. And years later, when people asked how she and Owen met, they would tell the truth. That he had been watching her secretly, particularly when she thought she was alone and invisible, and that his attention had not been invasive or creepy, but had been the quiet, patient love of someone who saw her truly and chose to care about her, even before they spoke a single word to each other. The story ends with a truth that changes how we think about being seen. Sometimes someone is watching you, not to judge you or catch you in moments of weakness, but because they see beauty in your unguarded moments, strength in your struggles, and worth in the parts of yourself you think are unremarkable. Being watched secretly can feel violating, but it can also be the beginning of being truly known by someone who has taken the time to see beyond the surface you show the world. The key difference is intention. When someone watches you because they care, because they admire you, because they are falling in love with the real you that exists when you think no one is looking, that is not surveillance. That is witness. And sometimes, being witnessed is exactly what we need to realize we are not as alone or as invisible as we believed.